Hey guys, if I could ask you to go ahead and take this second to hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny and it sure does help me.
Hey guys, it's BW and we're back out in the garage. I'm out here kicking around. I figured I'd bring you guys in. I actually have another video, a little more than halfway done, where I'm working on our custom exhaust. I put a couple shorts out where you guys saw I made the header piece, the collector coming out with our cutouts and all that stuff. But I'm not real happy with the way it's coming out in the back, where I cut right in front of the tire and have to loop around our ladder bar and stuff. So I got some parts coming. I'm going to try a couple new things, and whenever I get that straightened out, I'll finish that video and obviously share it with you guys. But I need to get a lot of stuff done on this car, so I just can't sit around waiting on parts because I'm locked into that job. So one thing I feel like I can do, we can start putting the interior pieces back in on the inside. We're going to be getting the glass guy over here real soon to get the back glass, and we're going to put the side glass in. And I'm going to reach out to him about the windshield and how to go about that. That way the only glass I'll be missing after that will be the door glass. And we'll take care of that eventually, obviously. But the first thing I want to do is I want to go down to the basement, pull the seats out, put them back in. I got to drag out all the hardware and the homemade seat brackets we made, get everything bolted back up. And then I want to look at this shifter. I remember I had it in, and I think it's a little too long, but I may modify it. I mean, it's a Hurst shifter. They cost a pretty penny, but you know, when you're building something in your head and then it shows up, you're like, man, this thing's a little long. You know, it's like, it takes 10 miles to go to first to second, you know, and all this and that. So eventually we'll shorten it up. But we're going to use what we have. Maybe I cut this down and weld it. If I do, the boot would hide the repair. So, you know, we'll think about it. I'm on the fence with it. So that's what's going on. Let me go get the parts. Then we'll bring you guys back in, show you what's going on, bring you along every step of the way.
Well, we dug out all the hardware and our seat brackets. We built these this past summer. I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner if I remember to the video if anybody's curious about how we went about building these. For these holes on the outside, we built the brackets to catch two of the holes for the bench seat, the stock bench seat. And in here, we got a piece of plate right underneath the sheet metal. And on this one, we catch the brace and put a piece of plate. So they're really secure. And then we have the front rods tapped for 5/16/18. And the seats, we'll pull these bolts out and slide the seats down on and bolt them to this. They're really secure. Here, I'll show you the bottom real quick. What I was talking about with the plates. Anybody that's curious, sorry to bounce you around for a minute, but if you look up in there, you see how, let me get the light. There you go. You can see how I have a plate, and then we have a furled nut that catches and just bites. It's really tight. And then for the back, we have an extra plate, but we also have it sitting on the brace. So those seats are really secure. And like I said, the outside ones, they go right to the stock location where the bench seat would have been bolted. All right, so we didn't, you know, no use for these two outside ones. So they're, like I say, really secure. So let me get the seats bolted in, and then I'll show you guys what they look like, and we'll take the video from there. All right, well, the seats, they dropped right in, guys. You know, 4 bolts each side. Like I said, we custom built those brackets. They fit perfectly. All right, so they're in. Anybody that's curious, these are the Pro Car Scat seats, and they fit the 55 really nice. If you notice, we got the seat top right below where our crossbar is, almost to the middle of where the crossbar is. And it's just like a perfect location for me anyway. When you look at it, you can just barely see the tops of the seats. It's really cool. All right. I'm hoping to be able to get the harnesses that you just put a choker that goes around the center bar. It'll come in the front and then up through the seat and hook in on each side. You know, so I'll look at getting those down the road, but for right now, you know, it's all visual. So the seats are in, and now I just started looking at the shifter again. And like I said, I remembered from this last summer, it's really high. I'll tell you this, it's a very, very comfortable shift. You know, it's in the perfect location. It's just a little high. So you got to go 15 yards each way to shift. So when you're street driving, it'll be fun and cool and all that stuff and very comfortable. But it's really not a setup if we go to the track. It's not going to work out. So I was thinking, you know, I could eventually, I'll just cut it off right here. I'll get rid of the little step. I don't need that little niche that takes it over just a little bit. And, you know, just re-drill the holes here and get these gnarled. I got a buddy has a machine shop. I'll get these gnarled, you know, and just bolt it back up eventually. I'm not really concerned with it right now. I'm assembling the car, and we're going to leave it alone for right now. I got this Hurst boot and plate that I had bought last year. I want to get that mounted, so I got to tighten up those bolts, and then we'll get this mounted and we'll check that out, and then we'll move on to the next thing. I don't know, I got to do the dome light yet. We got to trim all this headliner. We just, you know, one thing at a time, just moving along. And we're going to do this trim up front together so that we can put our gauges in, and we'll just keep moving the job forward. All right, I'll be back in a minute. All right, guys, well, there it is. We got the Hurst boot mounted, and man, does it look cool. I mean, you know, you never get tired of seeing that. They're, you know, what, they've been doing the exact same thing on, what, 50 years? Everybody's had the Hurst boot with a Hurst shifter. Well, now I got one too. So let's get up in the car and take a look around, because I mean, I've never built a car. This is the first time, and this is how I do it. Sometimes I just come out here and I sit and I think about what I want. And sometimes it comes out, and sometimes we have to redo it. There went a flashlight. No big deal there. But take a look, man. I mean, you know, we're looking at the back of the hood scoop. We're in the wheelhouse of a 1955 Chevy Gasser with a straight axle and a 468 big block Chevy. This thing is going to be a handful, but it's going to be a blast. But anyway, you know, that's you know, you get in and you start thinking about what you want, and then start building. Like right now, I know that our next step that we're going to do together is let's do this trim pieces and get that situated. I got to transfer the holes onto our blank for. I got an oil pressure gauge and I have a temperature gauge. I'm trying to decide if I want to put a voltage gauge or not, and if I do that, then this will never have a radio again. Not that it's going to get one anyway. So I'm thinking I'll end up transferring a third hole and making the hole, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, this is like, I don't want to call it fly by night, but I'm deciding as I go. All right, let me get this other light back up here. I dropped it. Was kind of dulled it out in here. That's a little bit better. All right, so that's where we're at. There's our buddy Phil. All right, you know, it goes through the gears nice. There's first, second, third, fourth. There's our overdrive fifth. All right, that'll help us a lot when we're out cruising around. I mean, it's got 456 gears in it, and that fifth gear is really going to help drop them RPMs down a little bit. And obviously, there's our reverse. But it's like I was telling you guys before, it's long, so I'll decide later on about shortening it up or getting a shorter stick altogether. In the meantime, if I'm going to be screwing around, I can always just drop my hand down for right now, you know, and get through them gears a lot faster. But it is what it is. All right, we're still trying to make decisions. I you know, I brought the tack out just to play around and look at things, you know. Where am I going to put that? We're not dealing with that in this video, but that's what I do. I come out and I look and I decide and I move things around until I find the spot, and then I'm like, yes. All right, so we're going to do this trim next. Let's get that job set up. All right, guys, well, it's the next morning or early afternoon. I packed it in right after the last clip. We're getting ready to start putting our trim pieces in the dash. It's gorgeous out. No heater today. It's almost, I don't know, let's go over and see what the temperature in the shop is. It is a comfortable 58 degrees. The opposite of pulling frozen cars out of snowdrifts like some of our buddies in the north. But anyway, I'm getting ready, like I said, to put the trim pieces on the dash. I'm pulling everything out. I just put our emblem on the passenger side trim. I used 3M two-face tape to secure it in there. It looks really cool. So I need this in there to center up the middle trim piece so we can transfer our holes. But you can see how it sits behind the piece I just showed you, and it also sits behind the gauge. But as long as we get it behind the one on the passenger side, the other side will be right. And then we can go ahead and mark the 2 holes for the gauges. Okay guys, well, we got the trim on the passenger side, just enough to hold this trim in. And I snuck my hand, first of all, I made sure that the gauge obviously was going to cover the trim, and it is. And then I snuck my marker behind here, and I laid out the 2 holes the best I could, transferred the 2 gauge holes the best I could. So now I got to loosen that up, pull it out, and we'll see what we got. All right guys, well, we got it laid out. You can see, like, we just transferred the holes, then I measured stuff up and I bullseyed it the best I could. We're just about ready to drill them out. The only spooky thing I could see now is putting 2-inch holes right beside each other with the minimal spacing in between. But hey, it is what it is. We're gonna have to try it, you know. We practiced on the aluminum's flashing, and we kidded around about the blowtorch, about what Dan had suggested, and you know, ultimately we knew we were going to cut it with a hole saw, and like the guys all pretty much said in the live chat, let's just use a hole saw and go nice and slow. Well, our buddy Howie Mook was really cool about everything. He sent us a piece of actual scrap trim. So we're just going to cut it with our hole saw just to make sure it cuts nice, and we're going to take it from there. You know, we're just going to go through it one more time. He sent us a nice little care package. He gave us another Howie Mook sticker for our collection. We got a keychain with a pocket knife to put the Chevrolet keys on when we get it done. You guys are always taking care of us. And he sent us a nice little note that's, here's a little something to practice so you can get a perfect 2-inch hole for your gauges, and a little something to hang on your keychain along with your keys for the 55. Give Kim a hug for me, Howie. Included is the sticker, as you guys can see, and a nice little hello to Kim. Really awesome. You know, we've met some really nice friends, and in this community that we've built, and we really appreciate everything, and stuff like this goes a long way with me, man. It means a lot. Thank you, Howie. All right, which reminds me why I'm thinking of it before we drill this. Our buddy over there at Puglisi Speed Shop, he's sitting in the 950s for subscribers, and his goal is to hit 1,000. So if you are watching this video, just do me a favor and head on over and click the subscribe button and check out Puglisi Speed Shop. Really cool guy. He's another one that you'll see a lot in our lives on Friday night at 8:30. If you can ever join us, join us. That cut pretty nice. Looks like I might want to try to secure it with the clamps a little bit better, but come out pretty gosh darn nice. Look at the front side. Little tiny burr there, it'll come right off. All right, let me grab my gauge and let's just make sure how the gauge fits inside there. All right, so there you go. It looks really good. It's a little tight. I mean, I think it just distorted when it came out of the clamp a little bit. The only thing I could think, because on our other practice piece, it just slaps right in. But this is a lot thinner too. So I'm really glad Howie sent us that. So really helped us out to understand what we got to do on the next one. All right, here goes nothing. Worst case, Kim's gonna have to buy me a new piece of trim. All right, it started to move. Our first one. Okay, we got them drilled out. Oh, there goes the drill. All right, we got them drilled out. Looks pretty gosh darn good. All right, let me get them cleaned up so the gauges fit in there, and then we'll go over and make sure they fit on the dash. All right, well, the gauges fit into the trim. Now we got to make sure that they fit into the dash. And I do not know yet. I may have to jog some stuff around. The oil's a little looser than the water, but you know, when we clamp it to the dash, it'll tighten up. It's just, I filed a little extra on that one. All right, guys, well, we got our trim in and it really looking good. I mean, we got our sad news emblem there. I haven't decided what I'm going to put in that trim hole yet. I'm not getting a clock and I don't want a blank. Maybe we'll make something custom to where it'll hold my BW garage sticker or something. We'll figure something out. I'm still thinking about that, you know, but as I think about it, it'll be cool. I mean, we got our filled bucket there. You come on over and there's our gauges. They fit perfectly. They landed right where they were supposed to. Our plan worked out. I appreciate everybody's feedback. So we're happy that turned out. This trim over here, I have the screw in there and I just have it clamped right there. I can't put the gauge cluster in just yet because we have a little more wiring to do and I got to drop the steering column to put it in. So I'm waiting until it's ready to go in and not ever come back out. I do have to transfer a hole right there. I think it's for the lights. Isn't the bottom hole the windshield wipers and the top one the lights, or vice versa, but I believe that hole is for the lights that I got to put in that piece of trim. I'll get to that, but I figured to let you guys take a look out over top, check out the back of the hood scoop. It's looking pretty cool. All right. Our next job is going to be to finish the headliner and get that done with and just knocked out and off the list. All right, I got to trim it all out. I have coat hooks I want to put in. Yes, I bought the coat hooks because it'll help hold the headliner, and you know, I want them. That's it. And I got to put the dome light in. So that's where we're at with the car. We're having a great time. We're just going to keep plugging along. It's supposed to have nice weather all weekend. I think it might rain a little bit, but we're going to be in the 50s and 60s. So, like I said, the next job I'm going to do, I'll probably just show you in a short. Because we've already covered the headliner. I just want to trim it out, put the parts in there, the dome light, like I said, and the hooks and this and that. Then I got to throw a sheet of plastic back over it. I'm going to clean the inside of the tilt nose, and we're going to throw a wrap liner on there sometime this week because the weather's really cooperating. We want to get that knocked out. All right, but that's where we're at. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to catch everybody on Friday Night Live. All right, so until next time, take care, everybody.